Our only intention from the beginning was to simply bring Terry home and care for her. And we had to fight so hard to do that.
She had a dramatic, never-failing response to her mother's touch.
Doctors believed that she was a candidate for rehabilitation therapy. The courts constantly ruled in his favor.
The Senate of the United States unanimously supported Terri Schiavo's right to have her case re-reviewed.
I kept thinking something was going to happen. They can't do this.
Pinellas County Judge George Greer ruled in 2000 that Terry's feeding tube should be removed.
You stood with a grace and a dignity that made your family proud.
By order of the government, a healthy young woman was denied food and water until she died.
Terri is now with God, and she's been released from all earthly burdens.
The question then becomes a pretty stark one. Do we believe in the sanctity of all human life, or do we believe in the sanctity of some human life?
I have a story that's quite poignant. Your father was very ill for many years, and that's, I believe, what led you to believe that it was time to start re-looking at this whole concept. A lot of people would say euthanasia, to support euthanasia is to support cowardice. To support mercy killing is to support cowardice. Tell us your story and how your views over the years changed on this issue.
Well, Barkha, it was about 14 years ago. My father, who was also a senior advocate, a highly respected one with 62 years of practice behind him, fell sick of a minor disease. He couldn't swallow food. He was admitted to the PGI in Chandigarh, where he picked up hospital infection. And his condition worsened so rapidly that suddenly they needed an injection, which was a life-saving one. And they sent me out to fetch it from the market. While I was out...
How old was your father when this was happening?
He was 83. But he was absolutely fit up to the day he went to hospital. He used to do all his work himself. He didn't even bother to call the servants to take his cup of tea back to the kitchen. He used to do everything. Very independent person. But there he was. By the time I came back with this 3 rupee life-saving injection, I found that they had moved him from the hospital room and taken him to the ICU and put him on the respirator. For the next 22 days, the 4 of us, brothers and sisters, used to sit outside the ICU asking the doctors, will there be any change? All we were told was, his stats have changed, you know, his blood pressure is improved, etc. He never spoke a word after that. He never did anything. And it was such a shame to see him lying there, totally helpless, an independent person all his life, and there he was lying.
And you wanted to take him off the respirator?
We pleaded with the doctors. I said, why don't you put an end to this? And they said, sorry, Mr. Sareen, we can't do it. He's on the respirator. Now if we pull the plug, it'll be like killing him. Now the thing is, had they asked me before they put him on the respirator, I also knew his views, and I would have never let them do it. But since they had done it, you know, we were stuck. We couldn't grieve, we couldn't celebrate, we couldn't do anything. We were...
And looking back, you still believe, there's no confusion, you would have wanted to take him off the respirator?
I would have never let them
put him on the respirator to begin with.
To start with.